Hey, back out here playing on the Great Pumpkin, doing some more body working. Yay, right? Well, it's a dirty job. Somebody's got to do it. And if Micro wants to help me, that would be fantastic. But that's probably never going to happen. So you guys got to hang out with me. We're going to get into it today is the door gap here. Not the distance between the door panel itself, like the door skin to the quarter panel. That gap is all dialed in, looks really nice. We're actually going to talk about kind of over exaggerate. But let's talk about, let's say, if the door wasn't the same height as the quarter panel. Now that's over exaggerated, but let me show you what we have down here and how to get this dialed in to make the car look super nice, and it's relatively easy. Well, let's kick things off here. Got some hammers, some dollies. These are self-explanatory. 1/2-inch wrench in case we decide to take the door hinge loose, do some adjusting on it. I got this old 3M rubber block. Well, it's not so much rubber anymore. It's kind of petrified. It's probably 15 years old. It is a fantastic tool for we're getting ready to get in here today because it can take a beating more than this brick can. It's probably actually harder than that brick now. And Orange Mountain Dew for those of us who are in the know. World's coolest straight edge for checking the body panel gaps, and a block of wood just in case I need that. But we're going to get into today, like I said, this gap is fantastic. Between the quarter panel and the door, this spacing is great. The problem becomes is when the door is shut and latched, just use your imagination. It's all painted and pretty, this bylines all nice and highlighted, and reflections nice and even between the quarter panel and the door, because they're basically, let's see if we get the angle right, spot on at the same height right now. But check this out, as we start creeping down below this body line, see what's poking out here? Let me get my straight edge. That quarter panel is actually sitting slightly higher than the door. So if you were to sight down through here, you guys can see the gap difference. Well, that's not no good. Well, that's probably acceptable for factory. And some cars this way, and it's not bad, but we can do better, and it's relatively simple. And I want to show you how it's all done. So you're saying, of course, pretty simple, right, John? Just take the hinge loose there at the front, kick the bottom of the door out, and everything's going to be great. With the exception of right now, I'll show you a little something with my straight edge here again. Cool straight edge ever. The door lines up fantastically with the fender. So if I start monkeying with the door and bring the door out here in the front to come out there in the back, I'm going to mess up my gap up front here. Well, simple, John. Let's take the fender loose. Well, no, can't do that either because right now I got the fender lined up with the rocker panel. So if I pull the fender out, well, it won't line up with the rocker panel anymore. So what I'm saying is, first things first, get your hinge, door, everything all adjusted the best you possibly can mechanically, and get that all dialed in. Shims on the bottom, shims behind here, shims here, bolted in, and get this all dialed in nice and even. And what we're going to do back here in the back, we're literally going to do a little twisting and shouting. It's not a dance move necessarily, but we're literally going to take this door and just twist the back half, because these actually flex and bend a lot easier than you think. And we can get that kicked out and fix this thing right up real quick. So you heard that right, the old twist and shout. What we're going to get into is we don't really want to change this dimension, but we want the bottom of the door to kick out. So what we're going to literally do, we're going to wedge something between the inside of the door jamb and the door skin itself, so it'll actually kind of work as a prop. And we're going to push relatively moderate force to the top of the door and cause this door to twist. I'd use the brick, but he kind of likes to crumble under pressure, but he's just going to hold my block up while I get things going. But what we're going to do is essentially open the door, find a good spot to put this down on the bottom, push the door shut here, as long as that's in there pretty decent, and then I'll lean on the top of the door here, and we'll get this thing bent into place. Got a chunk of rubber down here in the bottom of the door, so it's ready to go. Of course, you guys see my glasses on my head because the doctor says at the age of 40, you go blind, it's becomes standard equipment. You can't see anymore, you put them on top of your head, and we need them and flip them down. Besides all that, let's get into this. Rubber blocks in here, literally, just take a little body weight here. Going to push this door in a little bit. You need to see I wasn't putting a whole lot into it. Now we'll test our gaps. We'll line my center up here. I'm still about let's just call it what it is. Maybe I'll split the difference about half. So let's go a little bit further. Hey, now we're talking. I don't think you'll ever get it perfect, but definitely a lot better than it was. All right, let me show you. Okay, time for the close-up. How bad would we do? Well, check this out. We tie this up here to the quarter panel. Looks to be the same height. Come down about midway. Looks pretty good. Get down to here, still have just a little bit of deviation, but not anywhere near like it did, but the very bottom corner lines right up now with the quarter panel, so that is fantastic. So this is the original door. We did weld in a quarter panel, so there may be some deviations. Now you can see my seam right here, a little spot in the weld, a little spot in the weld, so there may be some warpage or some distortion, so there's ways to fix that, but I still feel the door is just a little bit low, only here in just this area here, because if I sight down the side of the car, you can still see it just ever so slightly. So we're gonna work this area here with the hammer and the dolly and see if we can dial it in the rest of the way. But for the bulk though, the door's in really nice shape. And of course, something else to keep in mind, let's say the top was the problem. Let's say the top's in too far. You could do the reverse. Put the rubber block up here in the top, push down here on the bottom, and you can twist the top of the door out. Now, I've seen as much as a 1/4 inch in height difference. You can get out of these doors and get them dialed in. I've seen some cars, unfortunately, painted that way and left that way, but as you can see, it's easy. Now, this car is looking really sharp and very little work to get that thing to line up. So that few extra moments there is really going to help dial this car in. But let's work on this area here next. Now, I've taken some tape to highlight our troubled area because when I open the door, I might lose reference, but I want you to see what we got going on. But what we're going to do is we want to essentially move the door skin and frame this direction. Now, I can take a pair of pliers, obviously, on the edges and bend it out, and that would bring the door edge out, but it would cause a dent here in my door face. I don't want that. So the idea, what I'm going to try to do is we're going to try to bend the door frame, not the skin. We're going to try to manipulate the frame out just a little bit, which then will pull the skin out or push it out, and it should reduce the chance of denting the outside. So the idea behind that would be the larger the piece you're hitting against displaces the weight, less chance of creasing it. So we're going to try to find the right block or right combination. I may even go with old trusty 3M block here and smack it right about here in the middle with a pretty good sized hammer and see if we can't persuade that skin to pop out the rest that we need. I need to hit down here lower at the body line just a little bit more. So that might be, we'll get a little creative here with this hammer. Now. That's a lot better. Now I just need a little bit more right in the middle, so I will try this one. This has a little bit of a radius to it, so maybe we'll kick it. I believe we have a winner. Let me show you. Now, if you look down the door now, check out that gap. Of course, I hope the lighting holds up for us here, but I don't see the step anymore in the quarter panel to the door. That's all that it takes to get the thing dialed in. Hey, so there you have it. Easy. I twist and shout and do a little dance, make the thing happen. Check out this door panel. Nice and even now. The two faces are on the same plane. It looks really great. My door gap is good. It looks fantastic. So what we're going to get into here next go around, well, we're going to do a little body filler work. Like we said, we did seam in the quarter panel right through here. So it has some deviations and imperfections. Even the back edge of the door isn't perfect. It's 50 years freaking old. It's been dinged off a few things. So we've also got this beautiful body line down the full length of this car that needs to be highlighted and nice and straight. So we're getting into some videos on doing some body working, making this thing look really nice. Now, when I say that, I'm gonna say it in this video, the next video, until by the day I die. I do not add body filler to the leading edge of the quarter panel opening or the trail edge of the door. Now on the face, yeah, we're gonna have to do a little bit of that. That's what's gonna be, but don't sculpt or create your body gaps with body filler. That's just my opinion. This isn't just a VBG way. I'm just saying I just don't feel it's very durable. It doesn't hold up. It's just not something that I will do. Dial those gaps in by welding the gap or working the edge of the door or the quarter panel before you weld it in. But that's a video for another day, right? But nonetheless, we'll get into that next go around. So appreciate you guys following me on the journey of the Great Pumpkin going back together in a 2-car garage, proving to you it can be done. I hope you find these tips helpful and useful because I'll tell you what, grabbing the camera Definitely doesn't get done nearly as fast. It does slow me down a little bit, but I think the knowledge and the help that it's hopefully bringing to our community building these old cars in your garage is definitely worthwhile. And so far, of course, my reward is I get to see these subscribers come up, get to meet some great people, some great conversations. I get to see pictures of cars coming back together. So I guess you say, and maybe it slows it down doing my build, but what I'm getting in return has just been definitely worth it, and building a great community, and I've made a lot of fantastic friends. So with that being said, appreciate your help here last few weeks. Subscriber count is way up, and I know it's not just because what I'm doing here in the garage, because of you guys sharing the content and the love for these cars and what we're doing here, having fun playing cars, right? So I've done enough of this. Next video, do some body working on these edges here. Do some highlights on how to get this body line looking super sharp and clean. Hope that helps you guys out in the future on your build some confidence that you can do this stuff pretty easy. I said less than 10 minutes. This thing looks fantastic now, and it's actually probably better or as good as factory did. I like to say better because I like to think we can do more gooder than that, but nonetheless, I've had enough fun this go around. I'll grab the camera. Hope the guys see you guys then just the same. We'll keep plugging away on the body of this car and hope for maybe mid-spring paint job on this thing. So nonetheless, appreciate you following me on that journey, and we'll catch you guys next time.